All right, mate. So let's have a look here. TRU. Now, TRU. The problem is with TRU. Let's even go to a daily chart so you can see this. It's not very easy to get on board this because it is a 13% risk down to this previous low. Okay. So if you're willing to take that risk, well, I think it's a long if you want to put a stop below that. But the problem is that's too much risk in my opinion. I would wait um, for some sort of a wick down, maybe down into here, for example, somewhere down in there, kind of like here. When prices are trying to push higher, you get one more wick down before moving up, and that's kind of what you want here to limit your risk getting in, and maybe buy on a stop hunt of that first low. If you can get that, see this first low. If price comes down anywhere close to that, that's where you want to be buying, because that's where it should hold up if this is going to be bullish. Otherwise, you can trade this and maybe put your stop below today's low or whatever. But um, a little wick down here would be nice. There is a bullish divergence here on a 3-day chart. As you can see, this is a higher low here, and this is a lower low here. There's a bit of a bullish divergence, and if you look at it, there's a bit of it's trying to break out here on the RSI. We also have the trend line kind of right. Well, it depends where you really draw that, but suppose you could draw it somewhere there. Maybe I just changed that to the daily chart, but you can see there's kind of a head and shoulders here. These head and shoulders actually, these elongated but the angle of these look pretty good. If this can work its way in here, I mean, I think it's good for a pop up onto these moving averages, and it would fill this head and shoulder target somewhere about there by eyeball, And we've seen a lot of these other coins do the exact same thing. So I do like this. I would prefer a small dip in it to get in safely. Otherwise, it's difficult to get on board. It's up 2% today. I mean, you could try and trade him. You could buy actually and put a stop below this pivot down here, somewhere down here, because if this is going to be strong, well, price should not even dip down too far. So you're talking 5, 6, 7% risk at this point, but the upside looks fairly good in it. If this somehow could hold, you're talking at least testing up and around here, 40, 50%. As far as AST goes, well, AST at this point, there's a bearish stop hunt right up here, and this indicates real selling. You can see this was real selling, going to cause more sell-off, and we're getting that. I don't really like this. Like if this puts in a bit of a base, then it might bar back up. But I'm not a big fan of this situation right here. You can see this drop here. I suppose did do that. Did Basin do that? Well, to be honest, there's a good example actually. This is something that you would not expect, but it was a daily stop hunt. It stop hunted the lows, and then we got the bounce back, even though this was a bearish setup after a bearish stop hunt. So you could attempt to trade this tomorrow. I wouldn't trade this today. I would let this finish and see if you can get a doji candle. But if it flipped green tomorrow, you probably could trade this back up to see. I would rather, if this was a daily stop hunt. It's not a daily stop hunt, so it's something you need to be careful with. It did bounce back here, but I think the only reason it bounced back here is because this had a stop hunt down at the lows. This does not. So I'm more wary in this situation, and I don't really like the setup. A bounce may roll over quicker.